is up, y'all, and welcome to tonight's Skeptic and Ranting. Holy books are outdated or scams? Oh my goodness. That's where my whole bank account went. We are tonight talking about, yes, holy books, why they seem to have, of course, two main reasons for existing: being outdated. Oh my, this is wonderful. Or scams, which normally prey on the people who say, oh my, this is wonderful. But yes, won't you join James W. and myself, Amy Newman, for a good time worth tithing your last paycheck. Woo! Gizmo says hi.
These colleges with a 2% job placement rate that gives you $800,000 in student loan debt that you have to pay off. This is different. You get unlimited return on your rewards.
It's true. Get to be in heaven forever, and I hear that's a long time.
100% placement rate in heaven. 100%.
That's true. There's no test to get into SATs to get into heaven, except for believing in God and faith, apparently, like we learned last episode.
You can pull up a chair right next to Ken Hovind, Matt Powell, Pat Robertson.
Oh my!
That
just sounds dreamy.
Upstanding theists, Christians, God believers. Jerry Falwell, he'll be there. Fred Phelps, I guess he believed in God. That's all that matters, right? He'll be there, so he can tell you for all eternity how horrible you are.
Such a dirty, dirty person.
I mean, I can't think of a better place to be. Can you?
Yeah, that anyone who should be saying that to you should be holding a whip and hopefully wearing all leather. But no. But also, please don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. I said it, YouTube. I said like, follow, subscribe. You can let us all go now, right? But no. Negative. We are a skeptic channel as well. So after we hear the opposition viewpoint, which is going to be just really us talking tonight, I have a little bit of a speech. But besides that, we're going to be opening it up and see if our net can cast wide enough. However, not only like, follow, and subscribe, but if you hit that bell icon to all, it allows you to see our premieres or join our live streams. Like, what is up, Shane Billowitz? What is up, Moetz? What is up, Khaleesi and Yudif? You are a Muslim. Can I join the panel and talk to you guys? You sure can. We're going to have a short opening because...
Is the Pope Catholic? Is water wet?
Indeed. I like that the Pope has gone this whole, like, half support of LGBTQ, because that just makes them freak out, which, once again, I say half because it's what he has said is he's allowed to bless the individual people in front of them. That doesn't mean that he's blessing the wedding, and that has almost caused, schisms within the Catholic Church. Religion.
They still go to hell, but I guess while they're here on Earth, I guess we don't have to, treat them like complete pond scum, like complete, vagabonds and the worst people in the world. Let God do that after they're dead. We can kind of like, I guess we can sit at the same table with them. We don't have to, get up and leave.
It's almost Mean Girls rules. Uh-oh.
But the worst part is that they're distracting the priests from their job of what they're supposed to be doing.
Which very specifically, if we've been watching movies for the past few decades, is doing exorcisms. I think that's basically where they should be.
Now, how did I miss that? Another guy in heaven, Bob Larson. You can sit next to Bob Larson for eternity. He could tell you all about how those emojis really did help him defeat Satan. It really wasn't a scam. It was not a scam just to get people to buy YouTube memberships. It was an integral part of the exorcism process, baby.
But James, look at it from
warfare.
The other side.
Demons, Amy.
Like, you've been around for the past few thousand years. You have been haunting and collecting souls, and then you're taken down by an emoji. That's gotta suck. That's gotta hurt, like, right on the inside. But sending so much love. What's up, Maya? That's right. We're here for the ranting. We are here for also the free meals. And what's up, Dave Rogers and Flum and everybody? We are having fun. We're talking about why holy books are outdated or scams. I am gonna, I guess, do quick shout outs. I already need to be right back for 1 second, and then I will go do my speech so that we can, my monologue, as they call it, the cool kids, and we'll then open up for everyone. This is why I was going to almost do like a 2v1, the call-in show format that we have been, but I wanted to let us catch up, get a few open mics, and then we'll go back to, getting our regularly scheduled programming. But we're here for the community and sending love. All right, enough shilling. Let's get to the shilling. I am sending love to all the supporters out there. Many great ways you can do so. You can, first of all, follow our Discord down below, our link description. But you can send super chats. Oh my goodness. And we'll interact with them. I'll dance around, mostly because I just like dancing. I'm better at singing. I'm not actually good at dancing, but I like dancing. What a pitch, James. Let me tell you. And so send those in, help support the channel. Super thanks are when we watch it back and you're from the future. Oh my goodness. You can't go back. That's the problem with time travel. It's actually easier, hypothetically, to move forward in time, especially if you move fast. Yes, because if you just start the closer and closer to the speed of light, the faster you are going to move, and so you can go forward. However, going backward is the problem.
I guess.
And of course, we
Go ahead.
are just trying to work on, better than a buy two value meal at McDonald's. And so I understand we're not quite at intergalactic travel yet. However, if the stars align, you are able to get a good deal at McDonald's. So, we're at a good time in history. What are we talking about?
We're the first generation to see cosmics.
I know. It's so weird. We think we are this, because I think a lot of our fiction, a lot of our media and content and where we're building towards, we think of ourselves as these spacefaring nations. However,
Dave Rogers called Gizmo a skunk.
Just need to get out of low Earth orbit. What about a skunk?
He thought Gizmo was a skunk.
I think skunks are adorable. I know we're all about, yes, they can do the spray and all that, but they're also very adorable.
So can humans.
That's right. Well, they always bring that up when we talk about evolution. They're always like, am I a monkey? Do I fling my poo? And first of all, that generally tends to happen to monkeys which are in captivity as
And-
humans do as well. Exactly. Where you were about to
captivity.
say.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so whatever. It's having perspective. I don't want to. It's not to shit on
Yeah, you get
humans
to
and
think
say
like-
we didn't do anything, because we've had many accomplishments. The problem is when our pride in our accomplishments blinds us from everything else from being in front of our face, whether that is evolutionary speaking, that we are related to other animals, or thinking that we don't need to invest in space travel. It comes in many forms. But enough ranting. Back to the ranting. Thank you for all the super chat. Oh no, you want to say something?
I was going to say, it's St. Patrick's Day. I mean, do you have any
That is,
Irish in you?
I am stereotypical in that, very specifically, I'm a social drinker. Where that two-word term comes from is that I will drink more if other people. I'm okay with drinking. I'm okay, especially the frilly, fruity drinks, and so
Well,
that's my way of saying I would celebrate if more people are drinking.
here, let me provide some empirical evidence here. Can you share that
Hold on.
screen for
Yes, hold
that?
on.
I empirically have 4% Irish DNA, so therefore, happy St. Patrick's Day to me, right?
That's right. All
There it
right.
is.
And
So I am-
I
4% Irish. There you go, guys.
own green T-shirts. So in a way,
I never knew. We never knew it till I got the DNA back. But hey,
it's cool that you have that, though. I should do that.
I mean, yours. You'd have to send it back to like the one company because of the whole lizard part. They
I was
would
going to
have
say the amount of lizard that's in there. I
you're
know.
30% lizard.
You purebred humans, you're so spoiled. That's
There you
what
go.
it is. But I will say, when Soros did hire me, it just had the perks. Very specifically, if you fire a space laser the right way, microwaves a pizza. So you gotta have to weigh your drink.
All Amy wants is sharks with freaking laser beams attached to their heads.
That's exactly.
Can we got whales with that? Because whales are a lot bigger than sharks. Maybe a whale shark?
How do you know that?
Steve, how big is a whale shark's penis? It's not 15, but it's at least 10 feet. I can work with 10 feet.
We also need a very big laser. It's gotta be 15 feet of laser.
Yeah. Rachel can't handle that. Rachel can't handle that. She can't.
Speaking of Rachel, we have many great ways to also support. We have our membership,
Send her over to Daddy Hoven.
daddyhoven.com. There's the Patreon at patreon.com/Amy Newman. At least we're not hawking the invisible product.
You actually get to see the debauchery you're spending your money on.
That's right. Well, I mean, that is the problem with them versus just charity, because that's what they often say.
Wow.
Is they are around for things like that, community, but there has to be alternatives to
So,
my mother who was calling me.
Yeah. So if if a Christian does something genuinely or good for somebody else, that's great. If they do it because of religion, because they think it's what God wants them to do, that's okay too. I think most of them who do help other people, I think they would do that anyway. regardless of God. I mean, we've talked to a few Christians on here who say, without Jesus, without God in their life, they don't think they'd be the person they were today, and they give God the credit for that. I mean, I tend to think they'd probably be decent people either way, but yeah, you never know. I'm sure there are probably some people who religion made them a better person, and that's fine. But there is something called the placebo effect. It doesn't mean it's true just because it, hey, Hannah, helps
What's
some
up,
people.
Hannah?
Yeah.
Sometimes makes it worse. There has been,
Yeah, like
I believe, a Templeton Foundation study tried to do prayer, intercessory prayer, and they found that when you pray and they know that the person knows they're being prayed for, they do worse, and they think that it is because of anxiety that they are trying to, they come on, God, I'm trying to get better.
Just imagine Jews and Christians for 3,000 years with family members sick with bacterial infections, and up until the past 100 years, the vast majority of the time when God was like thumbs up, he went thumbs down, like, no, they will not get better because I am not planning on rolling antibiotics out till the 20th century. So no, I'm sorry, all your prayers are rejected. They will die of that infection. And who had to develop antibiotics, Amy? Did that come from the Bible or from God? Or
it was theology that created all that, right?
It was a Christian who did it. Oh, it was a Christian who did it. So all the thousands of years of Christians before that, none of them did it, but eventually God let a Christian do it. Okay.
It was science. Science. But yes, we are talking holy books are outdated or scams. We're about to go into just the opening monologue and then just go right into letting people on. But we also have supporters, like our channel membership are evolving because evolution is real. And if you don't think that evolution is real, you are probably what's wrong with the American education system. There's actually many good things about the American. I got to defend the American education system. However, creationism, not so good.
Well, as I pointed out to Ken Hovind in a debate once, and as I mentioned to a Christian in comments the other day, every year from now going forward, there will be more and more churches who will be okay with performing LGBT weddings. They won't care. They'll welcome that community with open arms.
Mm-hmm.
They will take their money and be nice to them and let them sit in the pews. And they'll generally treat them like other human beings. And that will continue to increase. Amy, how many accredited academic institutions teach creationism?
I'm looking for it rhymes with hero, Nero, zero.
Zero. So the churches read in the Bible where it says God hates the gay, he wants them dead, and they say no, not doing it. We're letting them in. And who's winning this? Who's bending for who? Who's bending over for Amy?
Oh my. Hopefully we'll find out. But speaking of which, sending so much love to all of our supporters alike. Dale Pastel reminding us we're looking for a little bit of empirical evidence. Sending so much love to Davegar. Thank you so much, Davegar, reminding us the Earth is round and 4.5 billion years old. Thank you so much, Azo, reminding us we have the lovely Skeptic Ranting community, as well as Chris Disciple, reminding us there are theists in the Skeptic Ranting. Love, Chris. They're just skeptical of some of their beliefs. Sending love to Rachel Holen. Sending love to Rachel, reminding us that that's true. You can go to the nations around you and get slaves, or you can not be a dick and just go to a club and get a femboy. Rentafemboy.com.
There you go.
And sending love, Rachel. And then sending love to Rejos, reminding us that we have a skeptic Bible study. In fact, it's what we're taking aim at tonight. Really, is that holy books are nonsense. I have a big problem with them. The main reason that I bring this up is because someone asked, why or what is your worst apologetic presented to you? And that's holy books. There's a wide range, but I think holy books are the worst because they're the ones that are literal fairy tales. And, they hate that, and maybe it's even 2-word apply. I can shorten it down to myth. They are mythical. They're made to be mythical. I'm not 100% sure this type of fundamentalism has always been like this, and it needs to be fought because snakes don't talk. James, who am I to be speaking of biology? Oh, that was me fainting. Yeah. Yes.
They should have like a thing that, like, in the AIs where if somebody asks, like, chatbot, what is a woman? It just, like, disintegrates their phone. It, like, just wipes everything.
Is it sad that every time that I hear that question in the back of my head, it goes, man, I feel like a woman. Dun, 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 dun.
Hey,
yes.
Google, what is a woman?
What is a woman?
Siri.
Hey Siri, what is a woman, and can I get her for a coupon if I'm ordering the McRib? It says I can get her on the app, James. Yes. One Eve, please.
Oh, there's lots
of biology.
Good Christian women in Uzbekistan looking for American husbands. Yeah, sign up. They really love you. They really do. You're 64, she's 23, but she likes older guys. Send her the money now. Send her the money now.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's a prince, probably somewhere.
A VPN to Cameroon? I'm sure it's just likes to keep their data secure. Who wouldn't?
Exactly.
A lot of hackers out there. A lot of hacking from China. A lot of hackers.
I just needed to. We promoted and wanted to do skeptic scam baiting. We have a million projects, so I need to FUC US, and then once we get all of our fun, we can get more. But it would be fun to do scam baiting because I really do hate scammers. And I shouldn't use the hate word. My mama told me I was the only curse word. Can't use hate. Can't find hate with hate. Only love can do that. Oh, a religious leader. But I like MLK. What was that?
Those like fake like text messages like, hey Bob, while you're over there fixing the refrigerator, can you let Polly out? These fake texts that you get that, like, I'm not Bob and nobody's fixing my refrigerator. They say, I'm sorry, and then they just start talking to you and trying to get you to send them money. But they actually,
it's weird.
Yeah.
This picture, it's longer than his head. James, did you know that a whale's is 15 feet?
Yeah, it is.
Oh. Anyway,
like people's religious beliefs, like those scammers. There's one of them I got one time, like God sometimes plans these happy accidents. Can we be friends?
Oh, I'm sure. Well, you're praying on the
I mean, they mention God. They can't be a scammer because somebody who believes in God and is talking about God would not do that, right? It instantly gives them an aura of credibility that they don't have, and the scammers are Well, I mean, the scammers
Not
like,
on their side.
yeah, Peter Popov, Pat Robertson,
But good. It
Bob
sounds like
Larson.
you're onto something. James, I'm gonna be
So,
right back. And then I'm gonna what's up, Ian? What's up,
yeah.
Reverb? What's up, everybody? I'm gonna be
Oh
right
yeah,
back for
from
1 second. And then...
Pierogi, the Hindi words that he's learned to speak passable Hindi. He knows when they're insulting him in the background.
Oh yes. And I love what's it called? Scam is it Scammer Payback or
Scammer
I'm
Payback
trying to
Pierogi. And then the other one
yeah,
is Kit
Pierogi
Boga.
very specifically can speak Hindi and
Hindi,
can
yeah.
conversation with them back, which is pretty fantastic. What's up, Beamsy? Sending so much love.
Because
All
he
right.
sometimes works with the ones who are working in the call centers, but they don't like it. They feel bad about their job. They want to help get the people
Well,
that run
that's
the
what
places
I
arrested.
learned. That's the weird thing that I learned. If all that's true, that's like the nuance that I didn't know is that some of them it's like the scammers are being scammed to scam. James, that sucks, and that is some
Who is
Inception
that?
level.
Was that John Oliver who did that piece on that where
Yes,
they
it
they're
was.
from they're being lured to a country to do a job, and then they're basically locked in a room and made to text and email people for 12 hours a day, just trying to scam people, and you know they're basically just given enough to keep them alive, and texting, scamming, but yes, Gizmo, yes, Gizmo, yes, got lots of complaints. I'll tell you what. Yes, Giz got lots to complain about. Oh, let's see. What was I interacting with some Christians a few days ago on a Standing for Truth video about evolution, and they said that I was replacing God with nature. I made nature a god. It's a weaker god than their god, and it's nature. Um, nature is not a god. Nature has no goals. It has no desires. It's not conscious of anything. It's just matter and energy obeying the laws of physics, which is all that happens anywhere ever. Look out in the universe. That's all that happens here on Earth. That's all that happens. Even inside the cell, that's all that happens. There's nothing in there happening that's magic. There's nothing that happens in life that is magic that defies physics. It all works fine just with the laws of physics. It all works. Requires no magic to run. So why would we assume then that it had to have magic to get started? It didn't. I just saw another video a few days ago about new developments in the RNA world hypothesis, which goes to origin of life research. Um, if you're versed in that topic, it can get pretty technical, but they are doing research on this. They are moving forward. They are coming up with different hypotheses and putting them to the test. They're actually making progress, which is something that the Christians said would never happen. They keep saying they like to say, oh, if anything, the problems are getting worse, not hard. Well, yeah, because as we get more information, then there's information about information. It's like that every transitional species you find, well, now you need two more because, okay, what came after that and before that? So, yeah, there's always going to be more information you don't know, but that's the nature of the beast, right? So we're finding out more information, and then that then requires us to find out even more. But they're not trying to debate that question honestly. They're just looking for a gotcha. They're looking for a way out. They're looking for a way to say that it's not true. And yeah, they like to say everybody worships something. No, we don't. I say, well, worship can be just anything that you really like. No. I don't think so at all. They're just trying to take their their faults, their superstitions, and rub them off on others, like make it like, well, we're not doing anything different than you're doing. You have faith in like nature. We just have faith in God. You don't have to have faith in nature. Nature exists. We know that 100% reality that nature exists. We don't know that a God exists. We've never seen one. We have no empirical evidence of one. We don't even really have great arguments for any. And as the great Aaron Ross said, any being that would demand to be worshipped would be unworthy of it. Let's imagine this all-powerful being that just creates lesser beings so they can tell him how great he is for eternity. And if they don't want to do that, they get to be tortured for eternity. I mean, what a great guy. Yeah, that person would be totally unworthy of worship. Now, if you wanted to do that just to avoid being tortured forever, okay, I get it. But don't call that love. Don't call that good. Call him a monster. That's what he is. But you can't call him that, because then he'll know that you don't really love him and he'll torture you anyway. I don't know. Do the mental gymnastics. Make it work however you want to make it work. I don't know. Yeah, nature is real. Even, by the way, even if God were real, if the very unlikely chance that, well, the Christian God would be even less likely than a generic God, but let's say he was real, he would just be a physical property of the universe. That's all he would be. He would be part of the laws of nature, because he didn't. Did he do anything to earn his godship? Did he? Like, no, he just is. He just is. You know, like when humans talk about like glory and achieve accomplishments, it's like things that you had to work for, things that you had to put time and effort and fight to accomplish. But God didn't have to do any of that. He just got all these omnipotent powers and unlimited wisdom and the ability to do anything. So that's how would he revel in his accomplishment? Yeah, it's like playing a video game on God mode. Yeah, great. You can kill anybody. All right. That's not an accomplishment. What would be an accomplishment is if he laid his powers off to the side and then we're still able to actually do something. Yeah, definitely. James Hutton, every time you dig for rocks. Like when I play pool, I raise it and say, "Oh, bless my holy pool cue, Minnesota Fats. Please imbibe my pool stick with your amazing trick shot abilities, and bless my stick, oh holy Willie Moscone." No, we don't do that. But then they said that we're doing all this, we're making nature into a god, so that we can invent our own morality, Amy. And no. Christians do not change their personal morality for their religion. They will just go to a more liberal church. There are millions of LGBT Christians who go to churches that are accepting of them, and they're welcomed in. They don't have to leave Christianity to be who they are and be accepted within Christianity as that. They can just go to a church that's not full of assholes.
The only thing in America that there are more of than McDonald's is churches. And my lordy, you can find anyone of any kind.
Like the Dr. George Tiller, who was a specialist in his career specializing in late-term abort. He was killed in his church, in his liberal Lutheran church. He had no problem with the religion and his occupation. He made it work. Okay, there you go. He didn't have to leave Christianity to do his job. He just went to a church that had a different viewpoint on that political issue than the others. You don't have to leave
Ta-da.
Christianity to adopt your own morality. You don't. The serial killer of the BTK, Dennis Rader, who liked to bind, torture, and kill his victims, he gave himself that nickname while being a member of his church. When he was being sentenced to 10 life sentences, half his rambling was about God and how he wanted forgiveness and how much his pastor had helped him through the process of him confessing to all these murders that he had done. He didn't have to go to a different church to become a serial killer. He didn't have to leave Christianity to be a serial killer. He just threw himself on them like, hey, any sin can be forgiven, right? I can go out and kill a bunch of people, and as long as I mean it and ask for forgiveness and I'm sorry, God can forgive me.
And that's the worst thing of saved by grace or whatever the hell that they want to call it, is that they romanticize it. They make it seem like it is this wonderful thing. Oh my goodness, all you need is Jesus, James. Didn't you know the good news? Now, what that also leaves out is, hey, of course, if you don't accept Jesus and you're a good person, you're gonna burn. And if you're a terrible person and you accept Jesus,
there are no good people.
Oh, I know.
Amy, if you've broken one commandment, you've broken them all. So when God looks at you versus, the BTK killer, he doesn't see him as any worse than you just because he's killed all those people. Because you guys are both just sinners in his eyes. You both
if you lied
equally the same. Right.
About eating 2 chocolate chip cookies when you said you only ate 1 chocolate chip cookie.
And when you were 6 years or 7 years old.
Basically the same as murdering someone. And this isn't our logic.
If you ever gave your parents an attitude or you didn't immediately do what they asked you to do when you were a kid, that's a sin. You dishonored your parents. That's the same as being a murderer. That's the same as being Adolf Hitler in God's eyes. He looks at that and he looks at Adolf the same. No difference in his eyes.
Godwin's law.
Yeah, we finally got there. But that's true. And Amy, did you know that, by the way, that guy was a theist too?
Yes. Well, they try and pawn him off on us. Listen, we know that Stalin, unfortunately, was an authoritarian and pushed his views on others. I don't think that most secular skeptics would ever support that. But don't try and push your theist. He was a theist in every direction, whether he was a Christian, which is what he professed to be, or whether he was, some sort of ritualistic occult, which he may have
dabbled in paganism, Nordic kind of. He had like his own blend almost, yeah.
Unfortunately, assholes come in every version, atheists and theists on this planet. But yes, also I see in chat about apples, because I always talk about Applegate, and that is the thing. The reason they need Jesus, and Muslims have this real attachment to Adam and Eve too. They don't bring it up a lot because they seem to talk about it with just other believers. They always want to talk about deistic arguments when they meet an atheist. But you know what's really embarrassing? That holy book. Because why, James? They're either outdated or a scam.
And it's funny, Ken Hoven, and I know you've heard this before, like he is like out there claiming that he saved Jeffrey Dahmer's soul, that somebody got Jeffrey Dahmer his video VHS tapes, because it was the 90s, into prison, and that he converted him to Christianity. That's debated because the people who actually served prison time with him were saying that throughout like the last year of his life, he would still make crude remarks to the correctional officers about killing and eating them. So it doesn't sound like somebody who was cloaked in Jesus, all love and caring. If you're telling a CO you want to eat them like you did your other victims, but hey,
Are you okay? Not you, but if you were a victim's parents, we're now okay with that. We are now going to let this person be in heaven forever, alongside maybe either the victim, or maybe the victim's in hell because they didn't accept Jesus.
Right. Well, we know, speaking of Godwin, but the the Jews who got lined up against the wall and machine gunned, where did they go, Amy? Where did they go? They went to hell, right? Because they didn't believe in Jesus.
And I very specifically remember that lined on Auschwitz walls in blood says, if there is a God, he may beg for my forgiveness.
So
So
just imagine the horrible conditions in those camps, the cruelty, the brutality of that whole system. And just imagine, you think, right, death would be like a relief. At least you're not suffering anymore. You're out of that horrible place, only to find out that the suffering has just gotten started because you're Jewish and your ancestors didn't get that memo about Jesus, did they? No, they didn't get that memo. So, like Office Space, we'll make sure you go and get another copy of that memo. Yeah, while you're in hell burning, we'll get you another copy of that memo. Have fun.
Yeah. I also have found what Satan was in the Jewish text to be interesting, because it's a real love story. He was his man, his right hand.
He was on the payroll.
Was accusing people. Exactly. He was on the payroll. And then he gets retconned as the snake. And yeah, they did him wrong. Though they did snakes wrong too. Because why did all snakes have to lose, their limbs for that? That also seems a little unfair. God damn it, Billy. You messed this up forever, all of us.
I mean, you might think snakes do fine without legs, but apparently
they do. They're just fine.
You might think, just imagine those 30-foot long pythons trying to hold that body up on legs. What?
Well, and they evolve that way, and they move through the desert more easily and different terrains. They're just fine. It's why we sometimes get, why aren't they evolving towards a human, as if human was the end goal. If there's all these animals and they're all moving towards human. Yes, exactly. It's just
the goal is for them to be able to survive in their environment and reproduce.
Yes.
Right.
The goal is just live and pass on traits.
Because they'll say, well, Amy, the American alligator looks basically the same from a million years ago. Why isn't it evolving, Amy? Why does it look the same? Well, because it's an apex predator. It is at the top of its food chain, and it doesn't need to evolve. So any changes would probably make it worse, right? It's highly adapted to its environment.
Well, and certain organisms, alligators, sharks, they are oftentimes called living fossils just because of how long the model has been successful. And I was seeing earlier, someone said that, we share but descend differently from sharks, which is true. We get our spine from a very specific type of backbone fish, where sharks are made more of cartilage than we have. And so there is a divergence there.
So
because we always get, oh my goodness, you believe that you're related to a fish? Yes, we do.
Not only that, in a sense, we are still fish, in a sense.
Yes. Well, and this is the hardest thing to explain, though some things are easier than others. I always accept it for mammal. But we are always going to be the top level We never stop being whatever top level category we come from. When we diverge from something, we are something new, but we are different from whatever we are diverging from. It is why we will always, we're mammals, but so too are other apes. But yes,
Also apes.
we're also apes, but we're not squirrels. We can still share categories with squirrels.
But you think you're related to a squirrel, right? Well, yes, we're mammals, so therefore we're in that
Yes.
sense we're related. Amy, I don't know about you, but I spend about 3 hours a day watching squirrels have sex, and I have never seen one of them try to have sex with anything other
Hey,
than a squirrel.
James, does that drive you nuts? I'll leave now. You can continue.
Every time I try to have sex with they want nothing to do with me, nothing. I can chase those squirrels. They do not want to have sex with me. I know I try. Okay? They do not want to have sex with. Unfortunately, they don't. They only want to have sex with other squirrels. I don't know. Must be a thing.
Well, yeah, and they're waiting for like a squirrel to give birth to like a squirrel shark or something, or just a shark, just a shark to come out of a squirrel. Not how it works either.
Or a hamster grow off a cornstalk, which they know is not evolution. They're just trying to strawman it for their simple-minded audience who is desperate not to understand, desperate not to believe it.
But yes, all right.
Someone out there was saying, talking about universal salvation, everyone saved if Jesus paid for it, which is a very nice. It's like a kind of like a fringe theology, universal salvation.
Paid up front.
Yeah. Everybody will be saved eventually. It's a very nice doctrine. It's kind of fringe,
but
you can make it scripturally, but
it's always apocalyptic. It's always the end of the world. I'm just so tired of this end of the world stuff. Like, listen, if it's Netflix, if it is like any type of movies, Hollywood. All right, I am open to, if it's zombies, all right, post-apocalyptic. But the holy text, and this is what it is with the Abrahamic. They are very apocalyptic, and it leads sometimes to some bad policies because you want the world to end. You don't care about taking care of today. Not all. I get it. There's, I'm sure some Christian green activists out there that is trying to make the world a better place. But you know what? We get a lot who come and say, listen, God is taking care of things. And if something were truly wrong, God would take care of it.
Amy, we already know how the world's going to end in fire. The world doesn't get flooded again with the pole caps melting. That's not in the Bible. So we don't have to worry about ice caps melting. That's not part of the thing. The Bible tells us what the future is going to be. Have faith in that, Amy. If you're planning for other contingencies, then you don't really have faith in the Bible. God's going to punish you. He will.
It's true. And I want it to be known as a naughty, naughty girl. So punish me, God, wherever you are. I look up, but I want to look down also. Or maybe God's to this direction. Or maybe God's to this direction. You never know. God.
He's all over. He's there.
All over.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
Everywhere, but nowhere.
And nowhere.
Because when I say, can you pick up the bottle? They're always like, oh, that's cheating. Anyway, all right, James, I'm going to do it so that we can open it up and then we can just keep on ranting. If no one decides, we'll just keep on ranting.
Whip it out. Do it. That's what they want to see.
Going to whip it out in front of everybody. Holy books are outdated or scams. And hey, if you think I'm being mean for calling every holy book a scam, just remember, there's always that one out. They could just be outdated. I have no idea if the Jews 3,500 plus years ago really thought a flaming bush was talking to someone named Moses, or someone just had a bad mushroom trip. And the Christians tell us Jesus came back from the dead 2,000 years ago. Even Paul is a little sus. Seeing said prophet 50 years ago after he was supposed to have done so. Then we start to get to the Trilogy Books. Muslims, Mormons. Maybe M-name religions were all the rage back then? The Quran spends half its text bitching that the unbelievers are going to burn in hell. So Christianity redux, but delivered via Grubhub by an angel. Also, we get a single line miracle of a prophet on a flying beast with him cutting the moon, but not Sailor Moon, which is good. And Mormonism, which is big a fraud as the day is long. I'm sure many of the believers are lovely people. But if your prophet says that his book was created from golden tablets he found in a hat, either the LSD has hit, or you may have lost all your credit cards. Shit. The man even read said holy book, the Book of Mormon, not as if it was written 200 years ago when it was written, but as if it were 2,000 years ago. Ye old book is like totes legit. Thither, bither. How did anyone believe me even back then? Mither. So, holy books are outdated or scams. The jury is out depending on each religion. But one thing is for sure. We no longer need these texts when we have logic, reason, and science. Thank you. And all right. I had to get it off my chest, James, because they are. They're filled with woo-woo. I think that's the science term.
Well, I mean,
thank you so very much.
From Iran. There you go. Say hi to the Ayatollah.
There was actually one of my favorite running plots on Curb Your Enthusiasm was him getting a fatwa. But he eventually got the fatwa off because he helped someone who he wasn't trying to cut in line. He had already gone to line and was trying to get seconds. And Larry defended him being able to get seconds before everyone had cut.
Was that your
It was
granola Ayatollah bit?
Granola. Not quite, but similar. Who also had something like that in real life was Spinoza for the Jews, back when Jews actually used to still do that. Which is crazy that they did, and yes, they did. They don't anymore because I guess Hollywood would be gone. Hey yo, James, the Zingers are all up tonight. Though I want to work in media. I like media. Oh my goodness, the news needs to get its zing back. We need hard hitting journalism. Do. What's up, Titan Uranus? I love saying his name. There's only him and Stupid Whore Energy who are tied for the best name ever. Titan Uranus, fantastic wherever you see him. And Stupid Whore Energy, fantastic just saying her name and then saying a very technical question after. Question from Stupid Whore Energy.
Like John Maddox, like here we go. Just that exasperated, like.
If you think the DNA is a code, yes, exactly.
Oh, gee, Stupid Energy. I'm trying to help you, SWE. You got to work with me. You got to give me something to work with here. I'm trying, man.
But yeah, I mean, let's do it to it. Just sending love to everybody there. We're going to open the floodgates. We're going to act like Yahweh, and hopefully people have boats. No one knew how to make a boat, James. It's amazing. Not a single person.
They didn't need boats, Amy. There weren't like oceans like that back then. There weren't even mountains. There weren't really even. Everything was pretty much flat.
Oh yeah, goodness! Don't trigger it.
Yeah. Make the joke.
Hold on 1 second. I don't want to tickety tack, so I sometimes mute it. Join us. All right, there we go. I will say, George Carlin sending so much love that he is the reason. Even more than Hitchens. Hitchens is a close second, but George Carlin is probably the reason that I'm doing what I'm doing, along with James being so awesome. Put those two things. But yes, we're going to pin it. I know I said there was an actual theist a while ago who said they wanted to join, and we ended up then saying, oh, it'll be really short. And then 1 hour later, James, we had a lot to get off our chest. And so, but feel free to come join us. If not, we're just going to keep on talking about why holy books. Oh my goodness. We lost James to Satan. We actually have a timeshare in hell with Gilbert Godfrey. I have a lovely spot next to the River of the Dam, though. Carlin is the only comedian I saw perform in person. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure you could ever see another comedian again then, because the bar is already... No. I love going to see great comedy. I need to go back up. I should post. I have another video to post. Has it been how long since I talked about the LGBTQ agenda? I have a bit that I have already recorded about Bud Light. I was just so saturated with it. I didn't post it at the time, but I should post it now. Now that it's not topical. Because everyone knows comedy isn't about timing. I miss him too. I wish. See, here's the hard thing that I have to kind of balance with comedy is how much religious, or should I say anti-religious comedy I do with just life, which I think is what Carlin did. He balanced it well. I think that he is one of the guys you think of as anti-religion. And yet he also talked a lot about life. He was a word guy. I'm becoming a word person, especially as I teach more. But light is like making love in a canoe. It's fucking close to water. Well, that's what I talk about in my bit. Is like, are the LGBTQ the people who want to shove fruit literally into everything? You want us to defend beer? Really? You didn't even defend her. Not to like go there, but like it is. I would have maybe I would have been wearing a Bud Light hat right now if they had said, "That's right, that's right. This is the future of America, bitches." Which, once again, it's becoming less and less brave to support, or it should be. We were supposed to be boring, James. You're hearing me for now a while make this complaint, and I'll keep on making this complaint because I think it's very valid. They want us in the limelight more than we want to be in the limelight. In that they're like, oh no, wait, accepted? What can we do to make it not accept? We have to try and fight time now because mostly it was becoming a chill and thus eventually boring. And James, boring. Then you get things like gay marriage, trans in the military. I don't know what else we would get. We would get double trans in the military now. I don't know. They create their own fight
politically.
Sure.
Both sides like it politically. Because
there was a reason, I think, that to use it and why it was an issue in like with marriage and why it was a reason with the military, because there was actual issues where trans people were going in there, or not only trans people were going in there, but the military is one of the largest employers of transgender individuals. And so there was this actual need. And I'm not saying it wasn't a wedge issue for the left, because for a while, I think it was a powerful wedge issue. But then I think like a fiery ember, it has cooled. And it has slowly but surely turned back into, say, really a right-wing issue now. I guess it's an agree with what you were about to say, because I know that I'm not going to say that it's a one-sided drum, just that it seems like there is only one side beating that horn now, or that boom, boom, boom.
Well, like both sides are they want to find an issue that can get their people out, that is free, that doesn't cost the billionaires anything. So they go to these social issues because it will drive their people out to the polls, like issues like this, abortion, immigration, things like that. But they don't have to really talk about the inequality, the income, the wealth gap disparity in this country. They'd rather have us talking about these social issues that, the billionaires can just sip their martinis and, watch it. They don't really care about any of that stuff. It really doesn't pertain to them.
No, and the people who push for this, I mean,
bottom line.
The people who I despise the most, I think, don't hate me at all. And that is what kills me on the inside, because I think they're going to end up giving the religious people what they want. That's why I'm so scared of this upcoming election, because you're right. The hedge fund managers that they really want to be, let's just say, experiencing Coke Original and probably have done it off the back of a T-girl's bottom. If that sentence made sense for everyone over 18. They want to do a lot of Coke over a transgender. they don't care about us, but I'm just afraid that their deal with the metaphorical devil, which is religious people, is going to send us back hundreds of years. Come on, let's not lose this experiment. Anyway, what is up? Sending so much love to. I saw someone come in and then they went. I would say I would absolutely debate. I used to shy away from transgender debates, and I'll tell you why. I had resentment a little bit because you get put in a box. It becomes this is every topic and everything. However, I also have a lot of love for the transgender and the LGBTQ community. They have been very very supportive, for whatever about being huggy hippies that you want to say. I'll take it. They are very open-minded, and I've grown not only a thicker skin, because that stuff I always just see as low-hanging fruit, but I've had to defend, if not, bat away some of the arguments, because most of them are straw man. Like, they straw man me, and when I attack them theologically, they're straw steel mans. Excuse me, I'm using all this fancy language. When I steel man them, it sounds ridiculous. What did I just say in human terms?
Hard to steal.
They don't accurately represent our position, and they try and make it sound ridiculous. But all I have to do to make their position sound ridiculous is accurately represent it. That's why they are so afraid of biologists, and they always want to attack us as if we know anything about biology. Excuse me, if you think the world is 6,000 years to 10,000, which I know is physics, but that humans are 6,000 to 10,000 years old, that snakes can talk, that virgins give birth, that women come from ribs, that men can do miracles like the water into wine, which I hope tasted well, or a nice
Manischewitz blackberry.
Exactly. Or cut the moon in half, or whatever in miracles they want to. You don't accept biology or physics or chemistry. You throw that out when you want and just call it a miracle, because James can't all-powerful God, insert a butt plug and then create a universe.
He can do anything, Amy. He can do anything.
Do anything. In the definition. But yes, the fear-mongering is real. They are after your children, ladies and gentlemen. They will say, give me the boy, I'll make him the man. And that's your priest, imam, rabbi, whatever you got going. Pastor. We got our first victim, friend behind stage. James, once again, we're going to live in a world where it's a one-world government. We're all transgender, only the female kind, because that's gay. They never care about FTMs. I don't... And...
Elliot Page, he doesn't bother them. They don't really care. It's not really an issue.
I had another person yesterday tell me I'm not even transgender because they could do it better than me. And it's once again, like, okay, that's definitely someone not in the closet. So good. Once again, I don't actually believe in Freud, but Freud at least was high-fiving someone. Anyway, let's bring on Sinister. And once again, I will say, because it's just the skeptics right now, but right down there, StreamYard, Theus, please come one, come all, or at least with Sinister, we're going to have 7 more slots theoretically, hypothetically, here we go. It's Cotton Eye Joe. We are Skeptic and Ranting on holy books are outdated or a scam. What's up, Sinister Porpoise? The want to think of when you're thinking of porpoises. I hope you're having a wonderful night, and we're talking about holy books. Are they outdated or scams? How are you? What's your thoughts?
Well, I think in the case of Dianetics, it's fairly clear it was a scam. That
Yes,
some people-
I forgot to put them on my list, but they are basically the next one after Mormonism, which was clearly a scam. Dianetics, Scientology, yes.
But I think the Book of Mormon may be outdated just because of when it was written, and Joseph Smith may have written it to provide him a future income, especially when you read the Doctrine and Covenants, where he commands, like, I think it was Martin Harris, to pay for the book, publication of the book. Or rather, God commands Martin Harris to pay for the publication of the book, speaking through Joseph Smith. But I think the Book of Mormon is interesting, as are other holy books, not because the contents are necessarily true, but because they tell us something about the cultures that produce them. And Amy, I think we have nearly the same gaming chair. My arms are different, though. But she does not hear me because she's feeding her cat, which is more important.
No, I heard you because I have the wireless and woohoo! Yay, pink chairs. I'm pinkifying everything.
As for the Bible, who knows? It's a compilation of books that could have all been written for different purposes. At least we know the Bible likely had different authors.
Which sometimes it's funny because when they're trying to like string these narratives together, they go from like different books to like their end times. They'll go from Daniel to Revelation to Colossians to, you know, all they to the Psalms to Isaiah to try to get a coherent narrative together. And it's like almost like taking different cuts out of a bunch of different movies and splicing them together and make a movie. It doesn't necessarily work together. They're from different movies.
Well, not to mention we have that like sequel where we have this like really wrathful God in the Old Testament and a really calmed down one in the New Testament. Almost like they were written by different groups with a different understanding and a different
He's
thing they were
taking
trying to promote.
lithium in the second
You
one.
might think that, yeah, they got him on some SSRIs, lithium, some Valium.
I don't know about that one, but at least the worst thing he does in the Old Testament is just if you don't say you really like his son, you get to go to hell for all eternity. I mean, he doesn't drown innocent people just because. What was the reason given? They were wicked.
Yeah, they're really
For
naughty.
fun?
I don't know if it was for fun.
Or
I think it's like the Thanos problem, where Thanos has like this solution he's been working on for years, gets all of the Infinity Stones together, is essentially omnipotent at that point, and can't think of a better solution.
Needs to wipe out everyone, even the babies.
I mean, Thanos could have done anything else at that point that would have solved the problem.
Would have just grown up to be evil, Amy.
Well, here's the problem with Thanos. He could have either eliminated half of all the people of the universe, or he could have gotten rid of the balls on his chin. These were two highly probable scenarios. He went with destroying half of the universe.
But Thanos is a fictional character, and I think psychologically it makes sense if you get fixated on something you don't change. Also, the story of Thanos in the comic book, so much it's based, is much different. Because it's a much sillier plotline in the comics, because he's trying to get the Infinity Stones to make Deadpool immortal, because Death has a crush on Deadpool and he wants to date Death.
I do know that for some reason. Listen, Deadpool is pretty cool, and everyone should watch the new Deadpool and Wolverine trailer. That's right, Marvel. Give us money.
Is Wolverine, is that still by a different studio? I thought they were done with the X-Men movies after.
They are slowly buying all of each other, and eventually it's just going to be one company. And so it's going to be okay.
I think are we finally seeing the peak? Have we seen the peak of the Marvel superhero movie?
Well, here's the problem, is
fading?
that they have to figure out how to make a tied together arc. They had a really good arc when they were building everything, as she was talking about, not to have a comeback, but when we were talking about Infinity Stones, because the movies were all connected and they were all building. And I think what I think they need to do, and I think this is why Ant-Man people were disappointed, is they need to let people lose again. They need to let superheroes not win. And they actually did that a few times, and then it built towards stuff and connected. And so, yeah, let's see if they can do that again. Sinister, you look like you have a lot to say on that subject.
Well, I'm waiting to see if anyone else comes in to see everything to say on the holy books, but there are some things that are considered holy books, like, I don't know, the Tao Te Ching, which you don't get the sense it's a scam for reading. A lot of it doesn't make sense, but the stuff that does is just like, yeah, okay, this makes sense.
Sure.
Because that it wasn't really intended to be, we lost James, I think.
Yes, he got summoned by Satan. And I agree with you, because it's clear that some of them are just they're not historical as in we can read them as history books. They're historical as in this is what people really did think about at the time, and so we can look at it from their eyes. Yeah.
Well, the Book of Mormon can tell you a lot about how 19th century Protestants thought.
The Book of Mormon, just it's such an interesting, because when I meet them, their sincerity, I think, because I think we non-Mormons, I think even other Christians, and I say other Christians, that's right, Christians. I hope I triggered you. Come on here. They are not, they're used to talking shit, but it's not until they're just so nice that it's hard to be mean.
Yes, but I think it's a little bit easier when you know all that's a front, trying to get people into their religion.
That's also true, is that they're nice to strangers, but they're also mean, especially if you try to leave. And there's a lot of excommunication and
Well, it depends on how you leave. If you leave if you just start discovering, like, hey, there are some things that don't make sense here, or Joseph Smith actually was convicted of being a, disorderly person and a gold digging scam, and most of anything Brigham Young did, they will try to bring you back into the fold, as long as you're not openly telling everyone about it.
But good, we've at least got you here, being as heretic as possible. That's why it's not fair. I want to be kicked out of the Jewish religion, but they won't do it to me anymore. Well, they have a Hotel California thing going on now, which is okay, that's okay.
To officially leave the Mormon church, you have to go through a lot of hoops. You have to write a letter saying you want no contact. Then you have to put up with generally getting contacted by the members of your ward anyway, trying to bring you back into the fold. Then you get another letter saying it's like, this will cancel all the blessings of baptism and can have eternal consequences. Like, you're not going to baptize me back into the religion when I'm dead anyway. Regardless of what I
the
want.
baptism when they're dead is also a funny thing. I know it's funny in that it's horrible and silly at the same time, because I don't believe in baptism for the living to begin with. But then it is very odd to be like, nah, we're gonna do it to you anyway, even when you're dead.
As long as my name's somewhere, if I can get my name. I mean, I do think it's great that they wanted to redeem Hitler and have baptized him 6 times, I guess.
God wins Lord twice, but it's okay. We're in the second hour. We're allowed to do it now. We're allowed our second time.
I'm just bringing up something that happened because, unsurprisingly, when the Mormons were caught like baptizing Holocaust victims that didn't have any descendants, there were Jewish groups that had a problem with this. The Mormons promised to fix it, but it happened, I think, twice again after that. So I assume, I haven't heard anything for a while, I assume they've solved the issue that was causing it.
Magic underwear. Can you explain the magic underwear?
The temple garments are actually connected to the practice of polygamy in the early church. It was essentially a way of distinguishing who were members of the club and who weren't, because the principle, as it was called, was not lived by everyone, as Joseph Smith was rolling it out.
And oh my, did he have many. Now listen, I'm not even against polygamy. However, they were also misogynist. It always tends to be very guy gets many girl centered. Listen, there's love for girls who want their guys out there.
Well, I mean, the problem was Joseph Smith was marrying people who were
already married.
My
goodness, I know exactly.
It wouldn't be a big deal back then, but now they would be underage. And he actually sent some people away on missions just because he wanted to marry their wives.
Oh my goodness. Once again, just to not be on topic or anything, but holy books, are they outdated or scams?
I don't think holy books are ever... I don't think you can ever say holy books are ever in date, but they're never out of date either, as long as people still use them.
Fortunately.
I mean, people still quote the Bible, still find it useful. You know, if you want to ask me these questions, come in.
God damn it. Yes, well, I keep on trying to bait Christians, Muslims, Jews, Mormons, whatever you are, please come on and get the kitty out. But please come and say hi.
So, the Bible is going to remain relevant as long as people use it and apply it to their lives. As are the Bhagavad Gita, the Quran.
I mean, everything, needs to be a coaster at some point. I'm just teasing. But, I actually respect books, printed books, but it's not more respected than any other book.
But as to whether they're outdated is a different question. I don't think they were ever in date. It's like we don't use shekels. Sure. I don't think they used shekels when the Bible was actually gathered together, unless I'm mistaken, because...
I very specifically use shekels because it's the only currency that they accept at the intergalactic government, the only human currency that they accept. But besides that, I would never use it.
I thought they... Okay, I don't...
don't. The more you think about it, the less sense it'll make.
No, I was about to say I thought they used foreskins, but...
Yes. Yes. Well, that's how you get change.
I don't want to think about that.
No, never mind. We are Skeptic and Ranting on holy books are outdated or scams. If you think yours is one, the other, or a third option, I guess, which I guess would be true, but I'm a little skeptical.
So let's do an informal poll with the chat if we can. There are 4 books of Mormon scripture. I want you to number them. The Bible is number 1. The Book of Mormon is 2. The Doctrine and Covenant is 3. And the Pearl of Great Price is 4. So I want you to put a number. And yes, it's outdated. And what was the other one? Relevant? Yes, it's outdated or irrelevant.
Oh,
No, that's too many. Because, actually, no. I guess that's too complicated with the 4 books of scripture. Just feel lucky most of you grew up in a religion that only has 1.
I also went, actually, speaking of Mormonism, I have to do a video on this, even though they won't let me go inside. But I recently passed somewhere that apparently they call Mormon Disneyland. It's out here, I believe, by DC or Baltimore or something.
Oh, you mean the Mormon temple, which they call the Emerald City.
Oh my goodness. I was sitting there just in the back seat, like, what the are we driving by? Like, what is this? And they're like, yeah, that's the Mormon temple. They call it Disneyland. I'm like, all right, we need to go there. They're like, well, we can't. They don't let people or non-believers in there. I'm like, I don't care. I just want to sit there. Oh my God, I should dress up like a princess or something from like this thing. And I just want to go there. Oh my goodness.
My favorite thing about that is that someone keeps painting Surrender Dorothy on an underpass nearby.
Really?
Yes.
Dorothy should surrender. Poor Dorothy.
I mean,
But it does. It does look like something that you're going to get ice cream or a funnel cake near. But, not being able to buy coffee also works.
Well, you can buy coffee in Washington. You can even buy coffee in Utah. Mormons are.
No, really? That was a joke towards their not being able to drink caffeine thing.
Well, I wasn't allowed to growing up, but.
Right.
What does the chat think? Is the Bible relevant or Bible irrelevant and outdated in the modern age?
Yeah, I think we're not going to find many pro-Bible.
I mean, there are plenty of holy books still in print. Almost every religion has one.
And I have my good book. Oh my goodness. So my good book right now is the Skeptic's Annotated Bible. I do have the hardcover version of it with its lovely King James version with the annotations on the side.
Really, my good book right now is the Praxis 25165 Study Guide.
I mean, that probably is a good book. It is a little bit narcissistic to say that this is the good book. And I get it. It's the good news and blah, blah, blah. You got to be on theme. Good news, good book, good ice cream, all that shit. But, oh my goodness.
Well, according to the only holy book that's still relevant, the Earth was created by transdimensional mice.
Transdimensional mice. Now that makes sense. I will say that all of them are equally silly. Like, they all sometimes, the Christians are like, why don't you talk about Muslims? And so we make fun of Islam. Muslims are like, why don't we talk about Jews? And so we talk about Jews. And the Jews are like, why don't you talk about Christians? Let me give you a hint to all of you. It's religion.
And apparently they fly around in little wine glasses as well.
Yes. I do have a whole bit about I'm trying to form about the wine thing, because the wine thing is just so ridiculous. It had to be red wine, because if it was white wine, it would be too close to like looking like water.
Which wine thing?
Like if if Jesus was turning water into white wine, you would have a lot more like doubters going like, eh.
Actually, I think the best bit I saw a comedian do was one called Tree back in the 90s, where he like told he was going to do a magic trick and he was going to turn water into wine. Like he did an incantation over it, drank it. It's like, then said, it's wine. And then he says, I don't need all of you to believe me, just 12 of you.
Yes, that's right. Just take my word for it. But that's why you need it to be red. When it's red wine, everyone goes, oh, we know what that is. That's okay. But I will say also, because I have to go, I normally have James, we're going to give James like 5-7 more minutes.
Yeah,
and then I have to, or I mean, if a creationist comes on, then Sinister and myself will probably be here for the next few hours.
I mean,
But if not.
Otherwise, we both have to be up early tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. It feels weird. It was just bright not too long ago out there. I'm sick of this daylight savings time. It really does. It throws me off a little bit. And look, I like farmers. I'm a big supporter of farmers. And yet, I'm not sure this does anything anymore. There was my 2-second rant on daylight savings time.
Yeah, I can't imagine why a person working on their degree and working as a teacher would be busy.
Oh my goodness, Mondays. And I know it's a Garfield or a Dilbert or I guess every freaking comic strip about offices in general. But Mondays, let me tell you folks.
Garfield's hatred of Mondays never really made sense. Garfield doesn't work. Unless he just hates it because John has to work.
You are true. That doesn't really make sense. He has a secret life where he clocks in 9 to 5 that we don't talk about. It was snowing here today. My goodness.
Listen, there were some tornadoes off to the west of us a couple days ago, so we know God was mad at something, probably some corn.
Listen, God knows what's been on your browser. And he likes it. He likes it too much, yes. Sinister, do you know what the internet was made for? You're getting. I'm asking someone who has a degree in this. Never mind. Don't answer. I'm going to answer. The internet is for porn.
Everyone who's seen
internet is for porn.
Everyone who has seen Avenue Q knows what the internet is for.
That's right. Oh my! I want to see not only Avenue Q live. I want to see the Book of Mormon live. Have you ever seen the Book of Mormon? That has to be like a life goal at least.
No, I mean, I guess if like it comes close, I guess maybe Indianapolis or St. Louis will be the closest places to see it. I don't know if St. Louis or Chicago is closer.
Oh my goodness! I could go to Broadway, but it would be way too expensive. It would be a schlep, to use the Yiddish. And then there's cheaper alternatives, maybe Virginia, DC. I don't know.
I should have seen Avenue Q when it was it was when the university was out of session, but they had a troupe come in to perform Avenue Q.
See, I would like to see that.
I would like to see them do that with the Book of Mormon musical too. But I have seen the Book of Mormon as like an amphitheater production when they did the actual Book of Mormon, because they used to put on a pageant called the Hill Cumorah pageant, supposedly where Joseph Smith dug up the golden plates on a giant hill near where he lived in New York, which they don't do.
Makes too much sense.
Which they don't do anymore, which is a shame. But
find golden tablets on a hill?
No, put that show on.
That was my second guess.
Because, well, the problem was anti-Mormons were using it as like a tool to show them how ridiculous the Book of Mormon was.
And that's what I guess I wanted to ask. They really must not have a kind light about you. Or is that a shy topic and I shouldn't talk about that?
Have a kind what?
They must not look... Because I noticed that certain religions have different relationships with their exes, so to speak. Like ex-Mormons, I have found often don't show their face, unfortunately, because for reasons of safety and protection. The Jews are bored when I tell them that I'm an atheist.
Well, most Jews are atheist. That's probably why.
At least in the United States, a good portion of them. I know that's what I mean about the Hotel California thing. Is it's so weird. Is I get so much of a push to say just stay Jewish. You can be an atheist, and yet all the other religions, like that is like the battle. Like I like.
That's a check. Do not chew on it.
But yes, I guess that is what I'm asking. Is do they?
I guess it would be different if I were, if I will never understood why my father decided to convert before I was born. But
Oh yeah, he converted. He wasn't like born.
but no, I'm not a Utah Mormon, so it's not as big a deal, and it's not. The thing is, especially when it first came out, I went through the angry phase, and then I realized it's like, it may be a big deal in my life, and occasionally I'll run into Mormons, but most people aren't Mormon, and they don't care.
Yeah.
Now, and most people don't, and Mormons aren't a culture like. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, like for being Jewish is both a cultural thing and a religious thing, and you can be one and not the other. But for me, but the people who still call you Jewish, it's like how I'm Pennsylvania Dutch. I'm going to be that regardless of where I go, because that's just what I am.
California.
Not that Pennsylvania Dutch really means anything outside of Pennsylvania, but
I think my femboy just came home. Sorry.
But the Mormon Church is something you can leave. They make it difficult, but you can leave it.
They're not at least like Scientology where they're going to try to ruin your life.
I've seen, I don't know. The problem I have with religions like that, especially with the Jehovah's Witnesses, is that a lot of what you have to sort out through what's true and what's not. Because there's a lot of things out there about the Mormons that just aren't true.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was leaving, I was finding, especially when it came to Brigham Young, I was thinking it's like a lot of these quotes are like, these have to be people. This has to be something people are making up to make the Mormons look bad.
Some of the stuff I ask because I think to an outsider, it's so depending on the area, it's so culturally obvious that it's a fraud that you ask yourself, you either say there aren't really people like that, because that's why I've been meeting more Mormons and why I was so shocked the first time, but then they have apologetics just like the other Christians do. They have it's the same thing, it's just you're not used to it. Does that make sense? Once you get over the cultural shock, you go, oh, okay, it's just they have their way of defending miracles and their book, and
so
everyone's got a shtick, to go back to Marvel.
Yeah, if you're going to go to Utah, the Book of Mormon is very relevant there.
Sure. And it probably has the opposite cultural pressure. It must be actually hard when everyone believes it to then fight the opposite way. But I will say, Sinister, I think we're going to wrap up in a second, because I don't think any creationists are going to join us tonight. I think they're going to be chickens. Baka, 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 baka.
I'm not going to call them chicken because, one, it's Sunday night, and I do miss your late night streams where people come on and told us how they had sex with God.
Oh my goodness. I'm just happy that we've had both sides now. That we've had someone who told us they've had sex with Satan. they've had someone they've had sex with God, because that gives me hope that one day we could get these people together and they can have an orgy.
Hey,
It's what I live for.
You did get some interesting people in your late night streams, but also, I mean, probably in the summer you might do those again, maybe, but as a teacher, 9 o'clock is midnight.
I know, but I want to figure out how to get late night streams again. I want to figure out things. I'm thinking out weird experiments, like coming home and then sleeping for like 5 hours, or what would either 3 or 4.5 hours, because those would be REM sleeps. I'm very big on REM sleeps, and then waking up, doing a late night stream, and then getting another nap. That would be insane, but what if I just did that once a week so I can get a late night stream again? Once again, just throwing things out in the universe. I also... Oh, no, you were going to say something.
Oh, I was just going to say, if any Mormon wants to come in and chat, that's fine with me, too.
Yes. Well, we welcome theists of any stripe. We love our atheists, skeptics, whatever you call yourself. Thank you so much, Daniel. I actually have 2 sets of pink earmuffs, which is actually, you think it's not well, but I have my wireless and then my wired for when they're charging, and so that is the best thing ever. But Sinister, I think we're gonna do our outros, and then we're going to head out for the night. Yeah. So with that, we have been Midnight Ranting on Holy Books Are Outdated or Scams, and we are heading into our outros. Woo! Lovely having you on, as always. Not a problem at all. We have been Skeptic and Ranting, in fact, on Holy Books Are Outdated or Scams. Lovely having you on. And what are your final thoughts?
I am the Sinister Porpoise. When you think of Sinister Porpoises, think of the Sinister Porpoise. Today is actually tomorrow is we come back from spring break at the university. Unfortunately, the school spring break is the next week. I kind of wish they would line up, but they never do. So I personally don't think holy books are outdated or scam, and whether they're scams or not just depends on. Sometimes it just depends on how far back in the past they're written. Certainly there are people who do scam people using the Bible. And by the way, remember, the Lord is not a good investment advisor. What was I going to say?
Not at all.
But I also think we need to know what these books say, because a lot of times it's culturally relevant or can help us understand where people are coming from, especially if they're religious. I think it's more important that we, as best we can, that we try to be excellent to each other. And with that being said, so long, and thanks for all the fish.
Woo-hoo! Thank you so very much, Sinister. Lovely having you on, as always, and keep on coming on. And as well as keep on promoting the number 42. Rachel asked me what that meant. I think she saw the movie, and we both said it just means everything. Yes, I hope you misfits had a fantastic night on this episode of Skeptic and Ranting. Holy books are outdated or scams? Where, we talked about why holy books seem to have 2 main reasons for existing, either being outdated or flat out scams. For a good time, we're tithing your last paycheck, although I do want to thank my co-host James W., along with our panel, the Sinister Porpoise, along with all of the lovely people in chat, our awesome mods who make this stream so great, and lovely viewers like you who make this channel even possible. Please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. It helps us get into the algorithm. Wah ha ha ha. But also hit that bell icon to all so that when you do so, you can see our premieres or join our live streams. Or hey, why not leave a comment once the video is done? You can also leave a super thanks as a comment in the future. Oh my goodness. After the show, the Skeptic and Ranting Discord server often has after shows. You can find our Discord server in the link in the description below, along with all of our fantastic channel members that help us make even more fantastic, fun content and have our evolving badge system. Yes, biological evolution is a fact. It is a theory. It is a theory and a fact. Nonetheless, we also have our Patreon at patreon.com/Amy Newman. I am Amy Newman, and with James W. and Sinister Porpoise, we will see you all on the next episode. Are you doing an Eclipse live stream? Ooh, maybe we should see into that. I know I'm uploading something because I was going to edit it, and then I was like, you know what? It sounded all weird. I'm just going to freaking not make money off it and upload it just for the content purposes.
And DNA is not a computer code.
No, it is not. And all right, with I am Amy Newman, James W., Sinister Porpoise, we will see you all in the next episode of Skeptic Ball Z. We love you all. Good night, y'all. Mwah. Oh, do-do-do-boop-do-do. Shoo-ba-doo. Goodbye, everyone. I love you all, and good